Hey Doodlebugs, I am here to finish up the book that we started reading. So if you are interested, you are welcome to listen. This is our midweek check-in this week, and I'm a little late because I've been busy. Our book was How to Clean a Hippopotamus by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page, and it is all about animal partnerships or animal relationships. And the fancy word that we learned for that was... Do you remember? Symbiosis. So symbiosis is the interaction between two living things. And our book that we started last week it's mostly about animal partnerships where both animals benefit. That's a special kind of symbiosis. Okay, so you can listen to as much as you would like. If you think that symbiotic relationships are interesting, then maybe you want to hear about them. And if you don't, that's okay. All right, so here, this next page says, lower and a little to the left. Okay, it's about the giraffe and the oxpecker. The giraffe can keep most large predators at bay with sharp hooves and a powerful kick, so that's how he protects himself. But, like many wild animals, it is tormented or bothered by tiny ticks and other skin parasites. The oxpecker, also known as the tick bird, eats ticks and insects. The oxpecker searches for ticks and insects, pulling them off with its beak. The oxpecker will warn its host of approaching predators. If its giraffe has fallen asleep, the bird wakes it up with loud shrieks and flapping wings. The giraffe lets the bird pick off pesky parasites wherever it can find them. So the oxpecker actually does two things for the giraffe. It gets rid of the ticks, which is something, and then it warns it of danger or approaching predators. And the oxpecker gets to eat. This one says, have beak, will travel. Giraffes aren't the only large animals that form partnerships with the oxpecker. Here, an oxpecker debugs a rhino. Another helps out a deer. And a third inspects an African buffalo. These oxpeckers take a song break from zebra cleaning. All of these large animals benefit by having fewer parasites, the bugs, while the birds get to feast on their favorite food. Okay, wider please. The Egyptian plover is sometimes called the toothpick bird. The plover feeds on scraps of meat that get stuck in the teeth of the Nile crocodile. The crocodile will devour any animal it can catch, but it won't eat a plover. In return for a tooth cleaning, it lets the little bird come and go freely. So the crocodile gets his teeth cleaned and the bird gets food. This says dinner is served. The ocean sunfish, or mola mola, is one of the largest fish in the sea. Its skin, like that of many ocean animals, is often infested with worms and other parasites. Ugh. As a hungry seagull soars above the waves, it notices a large fin waggling back and forth. This is a signal. The fin belongs to an enormous fish, and the seagull moves in closer. The sunfish rises to the surface and rolls onto its side. The seagull swoops in and uses its beak to pry parasites from the fish's skin. People sometimes mistake the sunfish's fin for that of a large shark, but it's easy to tell the difference. A shark's fin cuts straight through the water, but the peculiar shape of the sunfish's body makes the fin wobble. So the sunfish gets clean and the bird gets to eat. Climb aboard, mate. The hippopotamus spends much of its time in the water, where its skin becomes covered with algae and water plants. An African helmeted turtle can help. As in many other cleaning relationships, the hippo holds still while the turtle does its work, nibbling away at unwanted greenery. The hippo also lets the cold-blooded turtle use its back as a platform for basking in the sun. So he gets to sit on the hippopotamus. Ooh, we just figured out how you clean a hippopotamus. Okay, I'm going to read one more page today. This is my favorite one. We all know about the clownfish. It says, more than meets the eye. And this is a really interesting animal partnership. So it says, the sea anemone and the clownfish, with its immunity to the anemone's poisonous tentacles, are one of the best known examples of animal symbiosis. But this relationship is much more complex than it might appear. At first, the clownfish isn't immune to the anemone's toxin. It must acquire its resistance by brushing lightly against the stinging tentacles, gradually touching them more and more. The clownfish hides from predators among the anemone's stinging tentacles. It helps the anemone find food by bringing other fish to their deaths in the anemone's tentacles. The clownfish is immune only to its anemone. If it swims into another anemone, even one of the same kind, it will be killed. If the clownfish leaves its anemone for more than 45 minutes, it will no longer be safe. It will have to start over once again, exposing itself gradually to its anemone's stings. Isn't that crazy? So each clownfish has its own anemone, and it has to get used to that anemone's sting. And it says if it leaves that sea anemone for more than 45 minutes, it's no longer immune, which means it can't hurt it, to the anemone's stings, and it has to start the process all over again. But once it is immune to, once the sting doesn't bother the clownfish can hide in the anemone, and then the anemone gets the food that the clownfish brings. Now, there are other animal partnerships in this book. There's the one about the crab, a couple different crabs, and then the cool relationship between prairie dogs, coyotes, and the badger. This is a good page too. There are so many interesting animal relationships. This would be a great book to check out. I actually got this is Miss Pedersen's copy, but I know that we have it in the Burnley Moran Library for sure. I bet you can find it in a public library. I hope you enjoyed learning about symbiosis and animal relationships. I have really enjoyed learning about your interests and things that you would like to learn about. So thank you for sharing those with me, and I hope to see you all really soon. Love you and miss you.